A parliamentary portfolio committee on police has raised concerns over the state of a police training college in Philippi. The trainees are subjected to leave under appalling conditions with no hot water, broken door locks, and poor quality food. The committee also wanted answers on how the college's 110 million rands budget was spent, as no audits were provided. I'm now joined by SA Police Union spokesperson Lesiba Thobakgale. Lesiba, very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. The real surprise for me is that, I remember when this story first broke, that was a while ago, and still nothing is or has been done.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It is indeed a concern to say, after all these issues were clearly raised, more especially when it comes to the issues of the conditions, the living conditions of the trainees not being attended to, it really has a negative impact on their morale in terms of their mind when they have to focus on training, because for them to be within a training institution is clearly for them to give themselves over and give that concentration clearly to their academics and the whole program as it's supposed to be. But for them to be subjected to such continuous living conditions, it is indeed unacceptable. And we are saying that those who are supposed to be held liable, they should clearly do so. And also looking into the issue of the budget that was spent there. If there happen to be allegations against managers who did not do what they are supposed to have done, if maybe there's any form of maladministration, one does not have to wait for any forensic report to come out there. They have to clearly make sure, that they take action, more especially when it comes to the disciplinary action that the divisional commissioner, which in this case it is Lieutenant General Zulu, she's supposed to take action, because if there's allegations, she cannot just say that one would wait for the forensic report, because that forensic report clearly goes for the criminal type of cases. But it does not have to wait for so long where there happen to be any allegations that has to do with maladministration. But in terms of the position of the conditions of that college, we are saying that now it has been a long time, and we are seeing that there is no change that comes there, and management has to take a stand. They have to close that college and redistribute the trainees across other colleges, because the issue of safety, the issue of people living within conditions that are indeed good, or it is a right that they have, and it cannot be compromised any longer, because it seems like these issues, they keep on recurring. There is no action that is clearly being taken.
In fact, one wonders whether training itself is in fact, taking place, and the allegations go beyond issues, of hygiene, food, and the like. There's allegations of rape of trainees. Allegations that chefs are employed as finance heads. There's allegations that some of the managers are using college funds and bank cards to finance their lifestyle. This is serious stuff.
Yeah, that is why, Bravo, our position as an organization is that where there's any level of criminality, you cannot have allegations of rape within a training institution, and clearly there is no immediate action that is clearly taken. That is why we are saying that the divisional commissioner has to take a stand, because every college within South Africa that is under the South African Police Services reports clearly under her, and she has that responsibility to make sure that there is an action that is taken. And for one to go and use the funds that are meant for trainees, that are meant to really run the college, for those funds to be used, to be misappropriated, for them to be used for other reasons and not for what they are meant for. Clearly, there should be action that is clearly taken. That is why we said earlier that the issue of where there's allegations of anything, any wrongdoing, the departmental steps have to be taken. they really do not need to wait for any other processes, more especially when we are looking at the criminal part thereof. They have to, because there's disciplinary regulations of 2016 that is still applicable within the South African Police Services. And without that action being taken clearly, management really exercising their line management function in terms of discipline, that it is going to create even more problems. So that is why we are calling on the Divisional Commissioner, Lieutenant General Zulu, to clearly take action in these matters and leave no stone unturned.
And I mean, from what we're hearing from the journalists who have been exposing these conditions that these trainees have to live under, even scarier is the fact that they cannot raise their concerns with management for fear of intimidation and reprisals.
Yeah, I mean, Bravuyo, where on earth would one be intimidated up to that level? Where to an extent where the trainees are being taught to say, you know what, if you could really say this will be will then follow as consequences. It is totally unacceptable. That is why we are saying to our side, as a trade union, to say that we have different types of platforms, and the trainees, they should feel free to speak to us as a trade union, because we are there to represent them. If management is really giving them those threats, they are saying that there will be consequences that will follow them. To us as a trade union, as we really stand for their rights, they should feel free to really contact us through our different social media platforms, where we will then be able to know and be able to deal with those issues as they come there and then. But generally, the issues around that specific training academy, which is Philippi, they've been going on for some time, and they really need to be given attention, because without that, then that means that even the divisional commissioner herself, she is also complacent when it comes to those types of issues. For her to really take an action, if she really takes an action, as we are calling her to do so, that will really tell us that she is indeed bold, she is dealing with those issues. But if she's not taking any action, that will send us another message when it comes to those types of issues. And even the National Commissioner of Police, come on, things like this cannot happen under his watch, as he is the number one when it comes to the South African Police Services. He is the accounting officer. He has to pay those. He has to clearly pay attention to all of the issues that are being raised here. And imagine we are talking about the living conditions. We are talking about conditions which affects the newly trained, the newly trained officers who have been training as we speak. They are coming to the South African Police Services. So if their morale and if their issues are not being attended to at that level, so it really gives us a concern to say, what type of police officers are we building? What type of police officers are we then going to bring to the society, where when there's issues that really affects them at that level are not being dealt with? We clearly believe as an organization, SAPU, that it is unacceptable and they have to be attended to as soon as possible.
Quick one before I let you go. Are trainees, trainee police officers allowed to join unions like yours? Do you have some of them as your members?
Yes, Bravuyo, they are allowed to join us as a trade union. And yes, definitely the open days since occurred across all the academies that are housing the 4,500 trainees across different academies, and that process since went by. They have the right to do so. Previously, there were issues some years back, but we were able to resolve on those issues when it comes to the memorandum of agreement. And clearly, they are allowed to really exercise their constitutional right in terms of freedom of association.
Do you have any from Philippi, or has any of those trainees approached you to tell you about their situation there?
Not that we know of as we speak of right now. That is why we are opening up to them to say, to us as a trade union, they should clearly feel free to contact us through social media. If maybe even one does not want to feel safe when a shop steward is sent to the academy to say, go and look out on these types of issues. That is why we are saying, we are talking about AMA 2000. Those are the young people who are really quite active when it comes to social media platforms. So that's why we are clearly encouraging them to keep in touch with us as an organization, so that if there's any issues that need to come to our attention, they need to be they need not to have any fear, because we are there to really stand up for their rights.
Lesiba Thobakgale, thanks very much for your time. He's the national spokesperson of the South African Police Union.